Lap 29, Sector 2. Everything looked normal on the surface. The engines were screaming, the crowd was roaring, and Lewis Hamilton was locked in pursuit. The Ferrari pit wall focused in, watching every split time, every corner entry, every heartbeat of data. Then silence. Not the kind that comes from no sound, but the kind that follows something too powerful, too disruptive, to be shared publicly. In that moment, Hamilton spoke. A short radio message, calm and measured, crackled through his team's headset. But when the broadcast reached millions around the world, that message was gone. Muted, censored, erased. Yet inside Ferrari's command center, every word hit like a thunderclap. Mechanics froze. Engineers turned to each other in disbelief, because what he said wasn't just a comment. It was a statement, a warning, a shift. It wasn't about overtaking or tyre temps. It was something deeper. It challenged how Ferrari operates, how they think, how they race. The radio wasn't supposed to shake anyone, but it did, because Hamilton didn't just speak as a driver fighting through the midfield. He spoke as someone who had seen enough hesitation, enough fear, enough holding back. That one message, delivered at over 300 kilometers per hour, cracked open the very culture Ferrari had built around control. What followed inside the garage, in the strategy rooms, in the corridors of Maranello, was not panic. It was awakening. What came through Hamilton's radio wasn't long or loud, but it was impossible to ignore. Sources inside the garage say his words were simple, sharp, and chilling. It's not the car, it's the fear. Just 5 words, spoken without emotion, yet they cut straight through the noise of the race. The kind of sentence that doesn't just question a strategy, it questions an entire mindset. It was a message that didn't fit the usual TV narrative. No cheer, no celebration, no team banter. Just truth, raw and undiluted. That's why the global feed muted it. Not because of bad language or technical issues, but because the words were too real, too direct, and maybe too dangerous. Inside the Ferrari garage, nothing was muted. They heard it loud and clear. Heads turned. Some team members exchanged looks. Others didn't say a word, but their body language said everything. It wasn't anger, it was recognition. Deep down, they knew what Hamilton meant. They had seen it too. In meetings where bold ideas got watered down, in strategy sessions where risk was avoided like the plague. That message wasn't just a jab, it was a mirror, and it forced everyone, from mechanics to top engineers, to ask the same question. Are we racing to win, or are we just afraid to lose? Within minutes, internal chatter began. Engineers scrambled to review data, check tyre wear, adjust brake settings, anything to explain why Hamilton said what he said. But it wasn't about the numbers. It was about the feeling. The feeling that Ferrari, despite all its power, was holding itself back. In that one sentence, Hamilton had exposed it, not with drama or blame, just with truth. Hamilton's message wasn't just a complaint, it was a blueprint. It didn't come from frustration, but understanding. He wasn't pointing fingers or venting over the radio. He was diagnosing a problem Ferrari has battled for years, but never fully addressed: hesitation under pressure. Those few words peeled back the surface of a much bigger issue. Because at its core, Ferrari doesn't lack speed. It lacks nerve when it matters most. The SF25 is a fast car, no doubt. But in qualifying, when fuel is low, grip is tight, and every millisecond counts, something always seems off. The car struggles to stay planted, the rear brakes overheat, and the engineers respond with setups that play it safe. Less downforce, fewer risks, tighter margins. On paper, it makes sense. But on the track, it turns potential pole positions into midfield starts. It's not the car's fault, it's the choices made around it. The fear of pushing too far, the fear of something going wrong. So they dial things back, go conservative, and lose. Hamilton saw it from the inside, and what he said was never just about that race. It was about a culture grown too careful. Inside Ferrari, there's a quiet tug-of-war happening. One side sticks to tradition, reliability, consistency, avoiding big risks. The other, now emboldened by Hamilton's presence, wants to break free, to trust the car, trust the driver, and take chances that win championships. His message was a spark thrown into the middle of that battle. It challenged old ways, called out caution, and showed everyone that Ferrari's biggest enemy isn't their rivals. It's their own fear of letting go. To most people listening, Hamilton's message might have sounded like background noise, just radio chatter lost in race chaos. But to Riccardo Adami, it was a war drum, a signal to sharpen tools and fight differently. Adami isn't just any race engineer, he's the bridge between Hamilton's instincts and Ferrari's execution. Their connection is quick, clean, and quietly powerful. No time wasted, no sugarcoating, just pure understanding built on trust and experience. When those 5 words came through, Adami didn't hesitate. He knew exactly what they meant. It wasn't about the current lap or the next corners. It was about the bigger picture, the strategy, balance, mindset. Mid-race, they made subtle adjustments, not just to the car, but the entire approach. Brake balance was fine-tuned, tyre pressures shifted, fuel burn recalibrated. More importantly, Adami changed how he communicated. Less caution, more aggression. It was like flipping a switch, from holding position to hunting opportunity. Then came the code words, a quiet language the outside world doesn't hear, but inside the team carries weight. Short phrases packed with meaning that trigger adjustments, change pace, or signal hidden plans without giving anything away. It's how they manage strategy without rivals catching on. Over the last few races, that system has become sharper and more direct. Ever since Hamilton's message, it's been used not just to respond to the race, but to shape it. With Adami, Hamilton doesn't have to explain everything. He just sends the signal, and the man who listens closest knows exactly what to do. Inside Ferrari, strategy isn't just a plan, it's tradition. Every decision, radio call, setup adjustment runs through layers of careful review. It's a system built on history, pride, and doing things a certain way. But Hamilton didn't come to Ferrari to fit old rituals. He came to rewrite them. That radio message didn't just shake engineers, it stirred something deeper, a quiet tension already brewing, now in the open. Almost instantly, a line was drawn in the garage. On one side, Charles Leclerc's camp, loyal, proven, deeply connected to classic methods. They saw Hamilton's words as a challenge, maybe even a threat. Leclerc's crew believes in structure, steady progress, and protecting the car over risking everything. They didn't say it out loud, but the shift in energy was clear. Some felt Hamilton overstepped, pushing for bold change too fast. Others, especially newer team members, leaned in closer, seeing it as a wake-up call. Traditionalists on the pit wall didn't stay silent. They pushed back in quiet resistance. Safe pit windows, cautious tyre choices, measured calls. But Hamilton, he doesn't operate within those lines. His feedback is sharp, urgent, and brutally honest, backed by decades of experience and 7 world titles. When he says the car has more to give, he's not guessing. He's demanding excellence from both the machine and the minds behind it. This isn't about ego. It's philosophy. Hamilton races with fearless logic, while Ferrari has often raced with pride, sometimes overshadowed by a fear of failure. Now, both forces share one garage, pulling the team in opposite directions, tradition versus transformation. Then came lap 42, silence on the radio. No instructions, just raw focus. Hamilton dove into Lesmo 2. No DRS, no team orders, just instinct. What followed wasn't just another overtake, it was a declaration. He found grip where others hesitated, precision where most feared to push. It was bold. It was proof of everything his earlier message hinted at. Leclerc, by contrast, took the safer line, steady but slower. The difference was striking. One move gained ground and belief, the other preserved position. That lap didn't just shift the race, it shifted the energy in the garage. Engineers didn't cheer. They leaned forward in quiet realization. Something had changed. Hamilton wasn't just racing the circuit, he was challenging Ferrari's identity. What began as a whisper in Maranello is now a wave. Not a rebellion, but a movement built on clarity. Hamilton's influence is growing fast. He's no longer just a driver, he's a strategic force. In debriefs, his voice carries weight. Leaders listen. Decisions bend. The culture is shifting. Old habits give way to a bolder rhythm, one of action over hesitation. Around the garage, people see it. Hamilton's approach is not just effective, it's contagious. The team is beginning to move differently. Now, all eyes turn to Monaco, the ultimate test. Here, qualifying is everything. One mistake can ruin a weekend. And so, Hamilton's message rings louder. Will Ferrari trust his aggressive setup and mindset, or retreat to caution? This Grand Prix is more than just points. It's a crossroads. One path sticks to safety, the other dares to chase glory. Ferrari must choose, evolve or remain shackled to the past. If you think this season is only about lap times, think again. It's about leadership, mindset and change. Hamilton's quiet message wasn't lost in static. It was a spark. And for Ferrari, it might be the start of something extraordinary.